So today I'm going to be penciling one of the main bad guys from the first issue. The inspiration for this guy is the Thenns from Game of Thrones. The Thenns are the wildlings that are cannibalistic and eat the crows. But I thought that the main Thenn guy was very scary, so that's who this character is modeled after. I pencil and ink and color actually um, almost exclusively on the Cintiq now. I find that the time savings is just incredible. I mean, there's no such thing as making a mistake because you can just undo with the click of a button, and it's just amazing. I still prefer the feel of uh, traditional pencil on paper, but um, time is of the essence. And speaking of which, whenever this gets released, probably I will have my first the first printing of my issue number 0 completed and in my hands. I'm planning to do a video for that as well. Um, I'm very excited about it. Um, it's going to be, it's just a test run to see if I like the selections that I used, how my work looks printed, and I already had to change some of my files to suit the printing process, uh, but it wasn't that bad at all, and I should have those books soon. Hopefully they'll be to my liking. If you're interested in buying one of these books, um, you won't be able to. Yeah, I'm only gonna sell them at conventions. So if you see me at a convention, that's the only way you'll be able to get one of these books. Just because it just doesn't make sense financially to sell them online or even it's just the shipping alone just makes it not worth it. It makes it too expensive to sit on a shelf. But if I'm carrying them to myself to the convention, then I can sell them at a reasonable price. It's funny that when I was getting ready to print, I reached out to a bunch of I don't know how many, but quite a few self-publishers for information about where they printed their books and how they printed them and stuff like that. And nobody got back to me. Um, I don't know what it is. If they think I'm competition or I don't view it that way. I think if you're someone that's going to go buy one comic book, you'll buy more than one. If my book is on the shelf next to yours, odds are they would buy both books as just as good odds as they would buy just one. So, but um, I researched it online. I found a printer, and I'll talk about that when I get the books, and we'll see. I'll go over the decisions I made and with paperweight and where I got it printed and stuff like that. And as for my pencil and ink process, usually my pencils are not even as detailed as these pencils here. My pencils are usually just a guide for my inks. I guess I guess my pencils could be classified as more as a breakdown than an actual pencil job. Um, but now, now that I'm doing the Cintiq, I often think like, do I even need to do the pencil step? And I'm gonna start experimenting with that, where I just go with the inks and erase because you could, there's no underdrawing. There's no need for an underdrawing, I don't think. So I'm gonna try to experiment with that, see if I can save some time. In traditional inking, when you make a mistake, it's like a disaster. Like, oh my God, I got to get this white out. I might even just have to start all over. With the Cintiq, you just hit undo, you know? So I'll let you know how that goes, but I'm gonna start just going straight to inks and bypassing the whole pencil step altogether. Okay, so this guy here is based on the Thens from Game of Thrones. And the main Then guy is kind of a tall, lanky, awkward kind of posture guy. So that's what I'm trying to capture here with him in this pose, is like that kind of kind of lurch type posture. And this scene here is the final boss battle in issue number 0. Eventually goes on to be more in depth than in the full issue number 1, but in issue number 0, this is how it ends with this fight scene right here. I've got to say that I'm pretty pleased with how the whole fight scene came out. I'll share it with you at the end of this video after everything's colored. I'm pretty impressed with myself, I should say, how well it came out. And I didn't really use a whole lot of reference for the fight scene poses. I just kind of made it up as I went along, and I don't know, it came out pretty dang good. As you can see in this scene, the main bad guy, the Then character, took a pretty nasty shot in the shoulder there. So when I color it, it's going to be quite a bit of blood running down his arm. But I'm going to do that in the colors, not in the pen and inks. And that's another thing. That's another thing I struggle with, is how much detail do I or should I put into my inks as opposed to finishing it up with my colors. Since I am doing both jobs, I can see if I was just doing the inks and then somebody else was doing the colors, how I would have to narrow stuff down for them so that they could do a better job. But since I'm doing it myself, I think about it and I'm like this shadow under his shoulder. Do I do it with the inks or do I do it with the colors? And it's a constant back and forth in my head. But I must say I like the way it looks here in this panel with the inks. So I think I made the right choice. Once I'm done coloring this, I will add that part to this video. Not the actual coloring, but the finished colors. And then I'll let you decide. As for the convention schedule, I saw, I live in South Florida, so I'm going to attend conventions in the South Florida area next year. I remember when I used to do it, it was like a learning experience every convention. just to get your booth right. So I'm gonna have to get some not posters, banners printed up, and get some prints of my book, and I'll get my booth looking the way I want it to look. And I think the first convention I'm going to go to is one in Sunrise, Florida. It's going to be around March, so look for me around that time. There's a couple before that, but there's no way I'm going to be ready. Like there's one actually in like 2 weeks, but there's no way I'm going to be ready for that. So March, yeah, I don't think there's anything in February, so March is about when I'm going to start boothing at conventions again. The biggest convention down here is probably MegaCon. It's in Orlando, and that's probably in March as well. But I don't know if I'll be able to make that. I'll try to make that one. But like, I have a full-time job, and when you booth at MegaCon, it's like a Thursday through Sunday type deal. And I don't know if I can swing that much time off from my regular job. But I'll try, see what happens. Never say never. If the Sunrise convention is a huge success, then maybe I will do it. Maybe that'll be the driver. But we'll see. I find it's best to not get your hopes up at these conventions because you never know how they go. Another thing about my book is I'm going to have advertising space in my book. And if you're somebody that's also self-publishing, you have a Kickstarter, you want to advertise or something, hit me up, and maybe we'll work a deal. You put my book in your, put my ad in your book, and I'll put your ad in mine. Time swap type thing. It's kind of something I never see anybody else doing, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's because people view everybody else as competition, or I don't know, but there doesn't seem to be like a lot of collaboration amongst self-publishers for some reason. But here's the final of that page, and let me know what you think. All right, like and subscribe. Peace out.